The next thing that we do once we go on from stanza start to quick feet fire is we'll go through a process what we call three-step cut and three-step extend cut. And basically what we're talking about in that, whenever we say a three-step cut, it's a transition cut. And basically these guys want to do, what we want to do is we want to stick it every 3 steps on the outside. As you can see, we get over exaggerated with the head nod at the beginning of practice, because that's the nod that we want to give at the top end of our route. Regardless of whatever route you're running, we truly believe there's a top end of every route, whether that's a go route, whether that's a dig route, or whether that's a post. There's always at some point you're going to stick on the field. So we want to make sure that when we're sticking, the emphasis of this is making sure that we're sticking under the framework of our body. We never want to get overextended. We never want to feel like you're reaching. Right here, if you can see number 7 on this first stick, right here, if I go to pause on our right, whenever he's outside of the framework of his body, now your groin area and your legs are having to overcompensate for that, and it's having to work at a higher pace to kind of bring that muscle back together and get it going back in the opposite direction. So when we talk about sticking, we always want to make sure that we're under the framework of our body. And secondly, we never want to hop into a stick. We want to make sure it's violent at the top end of our route and we're coming out of it with speed. Now, on from three-step cut, we like to do what we call a three-step extend. We talk about there's 2 phases of every cut. There's an extend step, which has us coming forward, and then there's a transition step, which enables us to transition in the direction that we want to go into. So our three-step extend focuses in on the top end of the route. It's the three-step extend to where we're extending now before cut and before we start to transition. Basically, the focus point of this is make sure we're getting our shoulders down. It's almost like we want to throw ourselves forward. As a receiver, we ought to be able to drop on a dime at any point and come up out of our cut. And practicing that with a three-step extend helps us be able to drop down and not give any indicators to DBs of when we're going to rise up, when the top end of the route. We're always keeping our shoulders over our toes. One of the things you can see too is we like to keep our arms tight. We feel that when we're keeping our arms tight, it helps us with our body control coming in and out of cuts.